Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Becca, and we're talking about movies like we know stuff. Hey everyone, welcome to our first pilot episode. We're going to talk about Wicked Part 1 today because we're unique and no one has talked about Wicked Part 1 on the internet yet.
Never in a million years.
All right, so you saw Wicked Part 1 for the second time, and I saw it for the first time, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, all right, so you've seen Wicked on Broadway, and you've seen it in the movie.
It's based on a book, loosely based.
Right, yeah, I saw that. I saw that in the credits, so that was cool. So, overall, really, really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very spectacular. I can see why everybody likes it so much. I thought the music was really, really good. I thought the music was very, very pretty. I thought both of them were excellent. So I've listened to a bunch of Ariana Grande music, and I know she can sing that high. So I get why she got that part. I just don't know how artificial and how doctored it was. Did it feel doctored to you at all?
No.
No? You think it's like her real voice?
I do.
See, the first time that...
She was on Broadway first. That's where she got her start.
Okay.
She was on Broadway as like a kid before, like a teenager before she was a pop star. So I do not think she's doctored.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm
not trying to say she's not very good or anything like that, because again, I listen to her music, or music that she's in, and she's very, very talented, and she can sing very, very high. I don't deny that. I just, for some reason, when she sang Popular, is that the name of the song?
Yes.
Okay, when she sang Popular, that felt more natural to me for her to sing. I'm not sure.
Well, probably because she is a pop star, and it is a poppy song, more so than the others in the musical.
Yeah.
So there's a range for Glinda. Glinda goes from very poppy to very operatic. It depends on what the song is.
Yeah.
So I just think the song lends itself more to what her career is.
Sure, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit that even some of the operatic parts sounded more thin to me than I remembered.
Thin? What do you mean by thin?
Thin at the top, not as full body.
Yeah.
It was super head voice.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I still arguably think she's the best part of the movie, so I don't care.
Okay.
I didn't care that it was a little thin at some points, because I think that she was the perfect Glinda.
Yeah, I think she was really, really good. Another nice minor detail that I noticed is that it looked like in most of the shots that both of them were truly singing on set. Granted, obviously there's overdubbing that happens afterwards and they lay the track on top of it.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. I don't know how the sound was captured for this.
Well, I'm sure they did it in a studio.
Yeah.
But what I saw was I saw both actresses. I saw them breathing at the right time as they breathed in the music, and then I also saw their vocal neck muscles kind of straining while they were singing, which is an indicator of them actually truly singing. So whether or not that was actually how they recorded it in studio, I guarantee you it almost certainly was not.
But it looks natural.
But it looks more natural than someone just puppeteer. Whenever someone's lip syncing, it is, I don't know, to me it's really, really obvious. There's some people who can get away with it, but for the most part it's really obvious because it's just oh, my mouth moves with little to no effort,
Right. Singing is physical, and that's why I don't like musical movies half the time, because it's very thin studio recordings over really fake miming.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
It's so interesting that you're probably the only person with absolutely no background knowledge of Wicked besides Defying Gravity. I mean, none at all. You don't know the soundtrack, you don't know the story.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating to get a complete virgin's take on this.
Yeah. So I would say also, the story is really cool. I really like the alternative background. I don't think it's alternative, but I like the background of the character is not what you initially thought it was, kind of spin on things.
Which is why I've said for the past couple of years, every time we watched Twisted, I was oh, it's Wicked.
Yeah.
Which meant nothing to you.
Right.
But that's what it is that it's a complete retelling of the characters and their motivations.
Right. And I will say that the only song I've ever heard outside of Wicked in its entirety, and I actually enjoyed just casually, was Defying Gravity. I will say that I did have a couple cues in a couple of the other songs that I recognized from either you've been listening to them in the car, or they pop up on your Sirius XM radio or whatever.
Right.
I've heard you talk about some of these songs, and I'm oh, okay. I don't know, some of the hooks rung a bell with what you've talked about previously. Oh yeah, I'm sure you said it's from Wicked or whatever to me. And so, yeah, so I had familiarity, but I didn't know any of the songs for sure.
I mean, I think that's just a result of being a member of the human race for the past 20 years, because it's been such a phenomenon for everybody else that I feel like you can't not recognize some of the songs. And also it's been in all the marketing and the commercials, so you're hearing it probably more. And I'm sure you heard people singing it in your high school.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just because, again, you existed when Wicked...
As a human.
Because you were a human when Wicked got really big, which in my lifetime was about 2006.
Right.
A couple of years after Broadway. That's before the internet really had exploded, and it took a couple of years for it to really, like, be a big thing to, like, the mainstream population that didn't live in New York City.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
no, that makes sense.
I'm sure you heard theater kids in bands
singing
it,
songs,
putting on, like, their, the uniforms.
Right, yeah, exactly.
As my high school did.
Right. So I'll tell the story again, is I was in marching band in high school, and I was marching in the Macy's Day Parade, and we were scheduled as part of our trip out to New York to go see Wicked on Broadway. I don't know if it was all main cast or anything like that. I have no idea. Unlikely, but I have no idea how prestigious this was. And I had no interest in musicals whatsoever at the time. And but I was hearing all my band friends talk about it, and they were so excited for it. And then, I can't remember if it was like a day or 2 days before we were supposed to go see it, the Broadway writers went on strike. And so our marching band directors, as like an emergency, like last minute change, decided that our consolation prize for not seeing Wicked on Broadway was to go see Fred Claus in the theaters in New York City. So that is
the greatest tragedy of your life.
Yeah, well,
really, now you see it.
Now I see it.
You should now. I hope you understand seeing the movie. Like, what a dramatic loss that was. Like that.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Yeah, and I don't think I would have seen it with Adina on Broadway or whatever, but I can see why. I can see why people would have really liked to see that musical on Broadway for sure. It's definitely really, really good. I will say I did literally facepalm when Adina made her cameo in the movie and did the final notes of Defying Gravity as like a joke, basically. Yeah, that made me facepalm.
That's like the only section of the movie that I was like visibly uncomfortable, because I'm just like, this is so unnecessary.
Right.
I mean, I loved their cameo, and I loved it more the first time because it was a surprise. But I would have loved them just to like come in and just sing some of the song. Like, that was fine. Again, it was a great opportunity, but I mean, that whole like minute of song, that was just terrible that they added to like a perfect score. It was just, it's just like that typical like Hollywood fluff padded cringe that, these musical movies are usually full of them, and that's why I hate them. And this was really one of the only moments that I was like, wow, this is stupid. Lovely seeing them, but they really could have done anything else. Come on, Stephen Schwartz, did you write that? Did you?
But anyway, I enjoyed seeing the cameo. That was nice. I did recognize Adina right away. You had to point out to me
Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I just hadn't seen it before. So that was cool to see the cameos. So you said part of that song was made for the movie exclusively. How much of that song was made for the movie exclusively? Was it just the part with the two cameos, or was there less of that?
It was like just that, pretty much.
Okay, so like none of what the cameos did was part of the original song then?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so the entire cameo portion was just made for the movie and for the cameo.
At some point it moves into the actual song.
I figured that was the case, yeah. I just didn't know how much. You said, because you whispered to me in the theater, you said this part was made up, and I didn't know like where the made up part stopped and started,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's like most of the play.
Yeah.
Like when the play is over and
Okay.
Kristen Chenoweth starts like dancing with Ariana Grande, that's when it goes back to regular score, to like OG score, not like this like trash edition.
Right, okay. Gotcha. Trash edition. Wow.
Not the cameo. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
Also, I love Chickens, Chicken Piano.
Chickens playing the piano and dancing through life.
Yes, Piano Chicken's definitely the best character in the entire movie, for sure.
Definitely something you're not going to see on the stage version is you don't see like any animals except for the flying monkeys and like Dr. Dillamond.
Okay.
Who's, played by a man,
Yeah.
with like, so he's like a half goat, half like man character. So that was something that again, only a movie can do, is having all these like sentient animals like working real jobs and
right.
being in society. You know, that's something you don't think about when you watch the stage production. You know? So there's like
fair.
things that, you know, the magic of CGI, they could add things to the universe that do not exist in a theater.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there are no chickens.
I know.
You see it on stage.
Unfortunately,
there are
no piano chickens. Unfortunately, I will say though that stage puppeteering has come such a long way that I don't mind stage puppeteering at all anymore. Like there was a point where it wasn't, in my opinion, very good, but since like The Lion King, basically, stage puppeteering has been much better.
Yes.
You know, like Jack Skellington at Disney. The entire Lion King puppeteering, the new animals that we just saw in Animal Kingdom, those were nice puppets too. So I have become much more accustomed to live puppeteering.
Maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope for piano chickens.
Maybe. So, Defying Gravity being the only real song that I knew, I would say that I did enjoy the song, very much so. I will say that because my normal like knack for music is not theater music, I will say that I still prefer like the Carrie Ellis like rock version over the movie version. And I know that might be sacrilege to say.
That is sacrilegious. That really is. But number one, you're wrong. Number two, also, something that stuck out to me more seeing the movie the second time is because I've seen 6 hours now of Wicked, okay?
Yeah.
And they stretch it out.
It is long.
And it didn't feel that stretched out to me the first time, but the second time it felt super bloated. I still loved it.
Yeah.
But
you told me it was a 20-minute chase scene.
Yes, and it was.
Yeah, it was.
But I forgot that in Defying Gravity, there's like 10-minute breaks between each verse, and I'm like, sing the song. Like I was
dance, monkey, dance.
Like again, the first time I had more patience, but the more I see it, probably the more I'm going to get impatient. But Wicked has breaks for dialogue and for moments with like Glinda. It isn't like sung through like the covers, but it does not take 25 minutes.
No.
Wicked doesn't take 25 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
right.
Defying Gravity doesn't take that long.
No.
It's not a half an hour production.
But yeah, does it give me at least some credence that like Carrie Ellis did play?
Did she?
Yeah, she plays Alphaba in Broadway. She did at one point in time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. So it's not like she's just some pop star singing like a cover of the song. No, she actually played the character on Broadway. So yeah, so that gives me some credence, right?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
All right. Good.
It does, but the best version is still the original.
I agree. So every time I watch the Carrie Ellis video version on YouTube, the top comment for a long time standing now has been, I like Defying Gravity from the musical because it feels very whimsical and very floaty, like you're flying. But the Carrie Ellis rock version is much more energetic, much more like triumphant. Screw the man, I'm gonna go my own way and make my own path.
Oh man, couldn't disagree with that more.
Why?
Because I would completely describe the musical version as triumphant and sticking it to the man, and it's like everybody's breakup song, and it's amazing. Like Defying Gravity is everybody's like
the lyrics, the lyrics are very much New Chapter, but like I'm talking about like the whole composer.
I just don't agree.
All right. Well, we're gonna agree to disagree on this one then.
Any other?
Okay, so walk me through the songs. I'll give you my hot takes real quick on each of the songs. Just read me through.
Ooh, okay. Well,
so top to bottom.
Ooh, No One Mourns the Wicked, the opener.
No One Mourns the Wicked. Oh, not too bad, but I think it's the next one that really pulled me in. I'm like, okay. When she...
Was it The Wizard and I?
Yes, The Wizard and I. When Elphaba sings a little riff from Defying Gravity, I was like, this is musical genius. I like this. This is nice. Yeah.
Oh, and I want to point this out because I've been waiting to talk about this for 3 years.
All right.
But when I know. But whenever we watched, okay, so for everyone not listening to this probably, we really, really love Twisted, which is the best Star Kid musical and is basically Wicked, but it's Jafar. There's a lyric where Jafar sings, he's that like foreboding, he's predicting the future, and he sings about, we're going to share a tiny living space. And he's referencing, without realizing, the fact that he's going to become a genie someday and he's going to be trapped in a lamp and he's not going to win, right?
Yeah, right.
That, they were emulating the moment in Wicked where Elphaba sings in The Wizard of I. When I see the Wizard...
The Wizard and I.
The Wizard and I.
Yeah.
When she sings, I'll be so happy I could melt. That's what they were copying.
Oh, that's creative.
This, like,
I like that.
foreboding line, but sung in a really tearful way, which makes it even sadder.
I did when I heard that lyric, I laughed, but I did not connect it to the reference to Wicked or the Wicked's Twisted's reference to Wicked. Yes, that's.
And there are
right.
like other things.
I'm sure there is
in part 2 that I'll be able to point out.
Sure.
But again,
and clearly there's a connection between Twisted and Wicked because the Twisted art mimics directly the art for Wicked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
and if you remember, which you should because we've seen it like 10 times, he's reading Wicked at the beginning of the play.
Is he? No, I missed that.
Remember he says to the bookkeeper, he says it's about a witch that everybody thinks she's wicked, but she's just green.
You're right. I completely forgot about that.
It's so good.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
But I've been sitting on this for years. Like literal years. But like because you didn't know the song, and I guess I didn't care enough to play it for you.
Yeah, I guess.
It was just such a moment. I love parody that isn't real parody.
Right.
There's a song they sing when they get to school, which isn't worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Loathing is the next song.
Remind me what she's doing when she's singing that one again.
It's like the roommate song, Loathing.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was nice. They introduced some nice harmonies in that one, so I really appreciated the fact that the two girls didn't just both sing the melody or the same melody, you know.
Like a very boring musical.
There was some harmonies. Yeah. So, okay, all right. Next one. What was the next one?
Something Bad, which again is a song that nobody cares about.
Okay.
It's the Peter Dinklage song.
Oh, well, yeah, that's Peter Dinklage, so.
But he's great in Cyrano. We loved you in Cyrano.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is good. He is good.
But Something Bad is a song that literally every musical theater kid skips. Like, no one has listened to that song more than a handful of times.
Sure. It wasn't a very long song, if I remember correctly.
It's not, thankfully. Okay. Dancing Through Life. I love Dancing Through Life.
And remind me of that one again. Sorry, I'm trying to put these together with the scenes, because I remember I connect the music with the scenes. Remind me again.
It's when they're in the library, and the prince who's like...
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to ask a question. I'm almost positive the answer is no. It'll be slightly disappointing, but I'll understand why. Are the wheel libraries in the musical?
No. It's such a great set piece.
That's a great set piece.
Wasn't that a great set piece?
That's a great set piece, for sure. Really enjoyed that.
So when I saw it the first time with my mom, I started to weep. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the scene. I loved the whole movie, but that's the scene that sold me on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That it was so beautiful and it was so intricate. And
yes.
Because, again, that can't be replicated on stage, probably, without, like, Cirque du Soleil. I just wept. It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
so,
it was
no.
Good. Okay. All right. No. I figured the answer was no, but I figured I'd check.
But, like, beautiful set design.
Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right. Next.
Popular.
Really liked Popular. Really.
I know,
Popular.
and you wanted to go to the bathroom. Ridiculous.
No, I didn't want to. I didn't know it was cut. You can't blame that on me. You said you can't leave. This is your best song.
Like, you can.
And I was like, okay, I'm down for it. You can't blame that on me. I hated this song so badly that I wanted to leave. I didn't even know it was coming. Like, come on.
I was just like, of all this, like, the one-off songs you could have left during.
Well, they just finished a song, so I'm like, okay, quick, I can go to the bathroom real quick and get back. And I probably could have gotten back before they started the song. But I appreciate that I did stay for the entire thing. So
it's also a good scene.
It's a very good scene. Yes, it is.
Definitely Ariana Grande's best song in the production.
Yeah.
That was her song.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Next one. What was the next one?
It's I'm Not That Girl. That's like the sad. That's like Alpha the sad song.
Yes, that's right. Okay. The dance happened right before Popular.
Yeah,
right?
Dance, Popular, and then I'm Not That Girl.
I got a little emotional during the dance scene when Galinda comes out and dances with Elphaba because she feels bad for making her look bad, even though she got her into, the high wizards class or whatever it was called. I shed a tear for that one. That was really sweet. I really liked that.
And that's so nice because they have that moment in the stage show. But something that I like about, let's say, this like bloated version is that the benefit is that the director, I think, did know when to marinate in some really good moments that the stage show doesn't have time to do.
Yeah.
So it is still like a slow build up with like Elphaba like just going out and dancing, and there's still the same exchange.
Yes.
But I thought it was much more effective in the movie because it took longer, and Ariana Grande just looks like she's gonna cry the whole time, and it's really moving.
It is. It is very moving. Yeah. Okay, so I'm Not That Girl, and what was next after that?
One Short Day, which is when they're in the Emerald City.
Yeah, that was entertaining. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
That's a great number.
Yeah, and I didn't mind the cameo. I know you told me that was just made up for the movie or whatever, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it.
No, I loved the cameo. I thought they could have given them something better to sing.
Probably, yeah, probably.
So
Okay.
pro cameo, not pro lazy,
Mm-hmm.
cheesy musical interludes.
Sure.
And then Defying Gravity.
And then Defying Gravity. Oh gosh, we talked a lot about Defying Gravity. So,
Yeah, did you like it?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. I'm excited to see the second part for sure. Well, that was our first test of some unnamed podcasts that we're starting, I guess. So, bye.
Bye.